Good afternoon, I'm Latricia Thomas. We join you this afternoon with some new developments in last week's shootings here in Chattanooga. We want to tell you about some late-breaking developments that we've just discovered. According to the North Chapel of Chattanooga Funeral Home, David Wyatt, Marine Staff Sergeant David Wyatt, will be buried at the Chattanooga National Cemetery. That is said to be because of his love for Chattanooga and this area. Wyatt, one of 4 Marines that was gunned down last week and killed in that attack. I want to tell you, too, about some more developments that we're learning this morning. According to an ABC News special report that we had this morning, they are reporting new details about the 24-year-old shooter, Mohammed Abdulaziz. We are learning as 30 FBI agents arrive in Chattanooga today to continue their investigation. Details that he kept a diary, details about his financial history, that he was close to bankruptcy, as well as the drugs he had been prescribed. In just a few minutes, we're going to talk to ABC's chief investigative correspondent, Brian Ross, about those new details. First, let's take a live look at the memorial on Lee Highway that, as of today, 4 days after these shootings, continues to grow from community members, from people near and far, coming to pay their respects for those lives lost and learn more about what happened here in Chattanooga last week. We do know some additional details as well about what is happening to those businesses in the Lee Highway complex. We know, for instance, that the property manager there says some of the items have been moved inside to the Military Career Center, including a Purple Heart that was left there by a soldier last week. We also know there are plans to set up a flagpole there that has been donated and to host a permanent memorial at this complex on Lee Highway where the first of those shootings began last Thursday. Now, we've had a lot of questions as well about all the flags and mementos that have been left there at the Lee Highway location. We're being told by that property manager that they will be collected and distributed to the families affected. Again, those 5 Marines and the 1 Navy sailor who lost his life in those 2 shootings, Lee Highway, and then, of course, the loss of life happening at the Amnicola location. We do again want to tell you the latest information we've learned today. Staff Sergeant David Wyatt from the Marines, we do know he will be buried at the Chattanooga National Cemetery. What we don't know yet, when that will happen or what day or any more of the details, but we do know that will happen in Chattanooga. Of course, these victims were from out of town. They were here in Chattanooga serving different parts of their military service. But of course, David Wyatt has chosen his family to be buried at the Chattanooga National Cemetery in the days to come. Let's talk some more about this ABC new information that we're learning this morning from their reporting. We know, for instance, that the family has been revealing new details to the FBI, including that some ammunition was bought at the local Hickson Walmart as late as July 11th. ABC is also reporting that at the Hickson Walmart that day, there were 2 other men with Mohammed Abdulaziz, and they have security footage of that. They are still trying to track those men down to talk to them. We know also that he was no stranger to guns, that he had frequented local shooting ranges. That is from a family representative telling ABC News and the FBI these facts. We also know that Abdulaziz was no stranger to guns, that he went hunting with several shotguns. We also know that he recently posted a video about AK-47s to one of his social media pages. Joining us now, ABC Chief Investigative Correspondent Brian Ross, who has broken some of those details this morning. He joins us live from New York. Brian, tell us about some of these new details that you're learning about Mohammed Abdulaziz.
Well, these details the family is providing to the FBI paint a portrait of a very troubled and conflicted young man, somebody who had mental illness, had been battling depression since he was a teenager, taking a wide variety of prescription and non-prescription drugs. His parents came to believe that there were bad influences around him in the Chattanooga area, and they say that's why they sent him to Jordan for 7 months last year. The family also has revealed to the FBI that he kept a diary, which the FBI now has, and in that that diary, he talked about suicide, about becoming a martyr. There apparently were anti-U.S. sentiments in that diary. This was written in 2013 after he had been fired from yet another job. The representatives say that he simply could not keep a job because of his drug use and abuse, and that in fact he was on the verge of bankruptcy.
Brian, let's talk again about some of the things that we're learning from that diary. Also, some thoughts of suicide there the family's reporting.
There were threats of suicide, of becoming a martyr after the fact that he had lost yet another job. He was also, according to the family, what they've told the FBI, completely overwhelmed by the pending court appearance he was going to make after being arrested on April 20th for driving under the influence. He was ashamed. He felt he had left his family down. He was extremely depressed about it. He made a phone call to his sister that morning, the Tuesday before the shooting, talking about it at length, about how badly he felt, and then later that day he went out and rented the convertible Mustang he would use in the shootings and drove around town with friends as kind of like a joyride at high speeds. He had gone from depression to a kind of mania.
And Brian, one final question. How is the FBI trying to link him to ISIS in any way? We know that's a question that's still resounding. What are they looking at as they continue that part of the investigation?
Well, they start with the fact that his targets were exactly the targets that ISIS had been urging its followers in the U.S. to attack. It was right from the ISIS playbook to attack uniformed military personnel in this country.
All right, Brian, thank you so much. We're wrapping up from New York now. We appreciate your time, and we continue to look for more details from New York and from ABC News. We want to also go now to our reporter on the scene on Lee Highway, Stephanie Santastasi. She's there as the ever-growing memorial continues to welcome people who are paying those respects to the fallen Marines and sailors. Stephanie.
Latricia, it's amazing to see how much this truly has grown within the past few days here. We've seen multiple flags, balloons, and people is the key. So many people just coming out here to pay their respects for the 4 Marines and sailor that lost their lives on Thursday. I'm going to go ahead and take a step out of the way for a second just so you can see how much it has grown. They have placed 2 tents up here. That was added earlier today by a company out of Cleveland. The property manager tells me that they brought this company here. Basically, they just want to make sure to keep the memorial here, if it does rain later, to keep these memorial items protected, and then for people walking by to keep them in the shade while it is going to be hot here the next few days. He told me that the tents will probably remain up for at least the next week or so, and then we've also learned that they are going to be adding a permanent memorial and a flagpole, and those will be coming within the next few days. But of course, the question that's everyone asking is what's going to happen to all of these flags and balloons here once this is all, once the tents and everything have gone away. They said that they're going to be giving those to the victims' families, and then if they do have extra, anyone else who wants that, the property manager will be the one distributing all of that. But we will stay here throughout the day and continue to give you more information as this memorial continues to grow. For now, reporting live, I'm Stephanie Santastasi, News Channel 9. Back to you.
All right, Stephanie, thank you. We want to recap again what we've learned this afternoon as these new developments continue to come in. One of the fallen Marines, Marine Staff Sergeant David Wyatt, will be buried at the Chattanooga National Cemetery. We don't know a day or a time or any other details, though. We know it will happen in Chattanooga. We also want to talk about some of the things we're continuing to follow as ABC continues to learn new details. We will have those beginning on News Channel 9 at 5, also on NewsChannel9.com. For now, we're going to take a quick break and then join the Chew in Progress.